Claiborne County John Doe. Identified as Hoover Jerome Morris. 16-year-old Nicole Young adored her 18-year-old big brother Jerome. Because his absence left such a huge impact to her, it seemed like all of her memories as a young girl were wrapped up with him. His loss overpowered any other memory, and she held on tight to what she remembered. She would say that her big brother taught her everything except how to tie shoes. It was her that taught him that. Over the years, Nicole never gave up. She was nearly consumed with wanting to know what happened to Jerome, and it drove her to find answers that recently finally came. Nicole would describe the years as a roller coaster. She last saw Jerome on the afternoon of November 22nd, 1991. They mostly lived with their mother in Heflin, Alabama, when they were not with their father who had shared custody. That's where they were that day, at their mother's house, when the mysterious red car driven by a woman Jerome knew stopped by. His mother also knew the woman in the car, and she was someone that she had pressed Jerome to stay away from. He went back into the house and told his family that she had been sent by Jerome's big brother to pick him up. It was this reason that his mother relented and allowed Jerome to go with her. The oldest brother came by the house later that evening, and he was asked where Jerome was. The brother was confused and had no idea what they were talking about. He hadn't sent anyone to pick up Jerome. It isn't clear if it was a ploy to get him out of the house, or if he said it so that he could convince his mother to let him go. It was terrible timing, too. Their mother just had surgery on her knee, and it was a Friday. Thanksgiving was 6 days away, and both kids were trying to help their mom by doing some of the food prep.
She said a red car pulled up and Jerome went outside.
And I stood in there in front of the freezer, in front of the window, and in the kitchen, and I continued to look out I was trying to read lips and trying to see what was being said. He come back in the house, and he told my mom, he said, "Mama, I'll be back."
Jerome left in that same car and was never seen again by his family.
The family called every friend and relative they could think of, and no one had seen him. The next day, they went to the police to report him missing. The one confusing aspect of this is that they knew the name of the person in the car, and it seems like not much has been said about them. It's unclear if she'd been questioned, but it's quite possible they're just holding back the name. Nicole thinks it's possible her brother had been involved in drugs, but there's no proof that's the case. He was definitely starting to hang out with the wrong crowd. Nicole had been concerned and tried to talk to him about it once, but he just told her she wouldn't understand. Jerome's absence would hang over every Thanksgiving and every Christmas for the next 30 years. The Heflin police chief would meet with Jerome's sister and mother, who had steadily pressured him over the years to find Jerome. And it's not that he wasn't receptive, they just didn't have any leads, or at least any leads they recognized. In 2020, that same police chief in Heflin reopened the 1997 John Doe case. The John Doe had been found at a construction site on August 31st, 1997, which was nearly 6 years after Jerome went missing. And in 2020, part of that reopening included sending the John Doe to the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences to see if technology had improved enough to get viable DNA, something they were able to do. And with this, he got his name back. It turns out Jerome had been a Heflin the whole time. The police said his identification came with leads, and they are hopeful it might be possible to close this case. Hoover Jerome Morris was missing for 30 years, and he went unidentified for 24. Jerome would be 48 if he were alive today. The Campbell County Jane Doe, 1998. Identified as Lori Alexander. I didn't want to leave Lori out of this lineup, but I also don't know a lot about her. She had far more recreations than she has photographs, and the one available appears to be a mugshot that's been edited to make clearer. While I didn't do the editing on that photograph, I did remove and replace the background. So if you could forgive me for taking a moment regarding this channel, if you could comment whether or not the editing of photos bothers you guys. I do it in tribute. I have a small group of backgrounds I usually rotate because I'm not trying to make it look like I didn't do anything to the photo. I do pay for a service that enhances photos for me using AI. I've also purchased programs that weren't cheap, but they don't do as well as this. But that said, I'm not sure if people would rather see the original photos. Most of them aren't very clear, perhaps because copies of copies were shared. In Lori's case, she is forever frozen at 28. That just seems incredibly unfair. So I'm always open to suggestions on how to make the channel better and show respect to the people I'm reporting on. We know she was 28 when she disappeared, and she was found along I-75 in Campbell County, Tennessee, on October 25th, 1998. Because, of course, there is yet another woman disposed of as if she didn't matter. She was thankfully found by a man searching for cans. It always makes me wonder how many people out there are still waiting to be found. That's why it's so important that people pay attention to their surroundings and report anything that they find. She was found 1 mile from the I-75 exit. She'd been beaten, stabbed, and shot. This particular ravine where she was found is a spot where people illegally dump trash quite often. It's unclear why it took so long, but Lori was found in 1998, around the same time in the same general area that she went missing. She was identified in February of 2022, thanks not to DNA but instead to a fingerprint. They had exhumed her in 2019 and obtained dental x-rays for comparison. There was no match, but it appears it may have been new technology that offered better prints after local police sent them to the FBI for evaluation. If anyone knew Lori or what may have happened to her, please call the number on your screen. I've included the TBI anonymous tip line. Anyone who knew her or her movements at the time would be appreciated. Lori Alexander went unidentified for 23 years. The Baltimore Jane Doe, 2017. On December 7, 2017, the police responded to a welfare check for a woman found in a makeshift tent who was living in a homeless encampment near Highway 195, near exit ramp 57. It's believed she had been living there since August of the same year, but those who knew her reported they hadn't seen her in 2 weeks. There's no indication of foul play. There's also no indication anyone knew her real name. It's known that she spoke both English and Spanish. Her age range is pretty large, 20 to 60. She was around 5'3" and 90 pounds. It's believed that exposure could be her cause of death. If you have any idea who she may be, please call the number on your screen. The 2017 Baltimore Jane Doe has gone unidentified for 4 years. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. If you could help to get the channel noticed by the YouTube algorithm by liking and leaving a comment, even if you can just leave a thumbs up or some emoji, it counts as engagement. It would be so appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Thanks everyone. Take care of yourselves and each other.